Joining us now, she had a legendary career at UCF, where she was an All-American, of course, led UCF to many conference championships, four NCAA tournament appearances, and is ranked pretty much in the top three in almost every UCF offensive category. And then this summer, with the Texas Smoke, won the WPF Championship there. I speak of Jada Cody joining us here. How you doing?
Doing good. Can't complain.
Well, let's talk about your summer. Has it kind of sunk in yet that you're a WPF championship there with the Texas Smoke?
A little bit, a little bit. I'm blessed to have gotten that opportunity to play with Texas Smoke. I'll be back next year, but it was a blessing this year getting to play with some of the best softball players out in the world. So just getting to play with them, and then the coaching staff was amazing too. So I can't complain. Summer was fun up in Austin, traveling. We got to go to different places, so that was fun.
Let's talk about how you got involved with the Texas Smoke. You know, your career ends in Tallahassee there with UCF. When did the pro picture start kind of clearing there for you from that standpoint?
Mm-hmm. Well, after my 2 years ago, when I had one of the best seasons at UCF for me, I knew that potentially I wanted to play pro after college softball was over. So I knew that was an opportunity and wanted to play. But I didn't know how to get in touch with anyone or anything like that. So that kind of was just like unknown. But once I was done with season, I started having people reach out to me. And then one of my great friends, Janae Jefferson, is on that team. So I kind of told her, like, hey, I'm kind of interested in playing. And so then Alex Powers had reached out to me, and then I got involved with Brandon Phillips and stuff like that. Him and Eric Mays had all reached out to me to get with the Texas Smoke. So that's kind of how I made that decision.
For those that don't know, the Texas Smoke, of course, Brandon Phillips, former Major League Baseball player, owns the team, as well as his wife, Jade Cargill, who's a WWE wrestler. What has it been like interacting with the folks there with the Smoke?
Great. You can definitely see the support and how the WPF is definitely growing and it's continued to grow. I'm excited to see what next year has to offer for the WPF. So I'm excited for that. But just our owner support and our GM support, I think it goes to shows how much they support and pour into the women in sports. And so I'm excited just to see how the WPF grows.
How did it feel playing with all the players that you did on the Smoke? Maddie Grimm, who I know very well, was a part of that team. I mean, you had a historic year, dominating the league. What was it like that you experienced after experiencing the collegiate level?
Mm-hmm. No, it was great having just be involved with players that have been in the sport and pro leagues for a long time and also the rookies. And so I got really close with a lot of the players. And so just having that connection with them definitely allowed our chemistry to come together and like knowing that we have each other on the field, like we don't have to do everything alone. So just being around like-minded people had allowed me to grow. And I'm excited to see where this pro life takes me.
Who was a player or two you got to get to know during the summer that you were kind of had not known before that you were intrigued to get to know?
My roommate, Jayla Wright, pitcher from Duke. We got super close. And so I was her catcher every time she pitched. So that was really exciting just to like connect with her on that level. But yeah, it was great just really connecting with her. But everyone on the team, like I got super close with a lot of players on the team, like the rookies, the vets. And so just being able to really get into the pro life and like really connect with my teammates was like a big thing for me because I'm really big on relationships. And so that was a big thing that we valued on Texas Smoke was just like really connecting with each other and getting to know each other.
This was a pretty busy summer for if you were a UCF alum. I mean, Sona also played in the WPF. Sarah Willis did AUX and then played on Athletes Unlimited. Did you all kind of follow each other there as you were playing professionally and doing your own thing?
So Sona and I both shared the same home field, so we were always in Austin together. And so, obviously, it was busy. Our schedule was busy, so we obviously didn't get to see each other that much because we were traveling each week to different locations. But the cool thing, every time we went to the restaurants, AU was playing, so I always saw Sarah on TV. So just seeing them grow and continue to play, I think that was a great thing for UCF having three pro athletes go right after college. And so just seeing what UCF has to offer for us was a great thing. And I can't wait to see what each graduating class does after now.
Gianna Mancha had played in the WPF, of course, has played internationally. I wonder if did you seek her advice out as you started this pro career?
I did. It was actually cool. One of the second to last weekends of us playing out there, she actually surprised me and came. one of my games. So just to see what she's doing with playing pro, she was in Puerto Rico this whole summer playing there. And so just to see her growth as an athlete and just as a softball player has definitely been amazing, just to be like next to her by her side through that all, and like to know that she supported me through it all, me being a rookie. But yeah, it was great seeing her when she came to surprise me. That was definitely a great gift seeing her.
And then Coach Ball Malone also visit you at one point during the summer to see you play. I thought, at least I saw, I don't know, her Instagram. She's a very creative Instagram game, but I know she was following you.
Yeah, she was following me all along. She was gonna come out there, but our schedule was so hectic when she was trying to come to Austin. I wasn't. I was in Lubbock, and that was like 8 hours away. So she didn't get to come see, but she definitely will be out there next year.
What was the experience? Describe what went through your mind when that last out was recorded. You had just clinched the WPF Championship. You were, they were the top team all season, but you never know what happens in the postseason. You win the 2 games. What was that moment like?
It honestly was surreal being a rookie, being able to catch Sam, and there was a multiple pitchers that game, but being able to just like be a rookie in the championship game, like it's everything I dreamt of. I couldn't imagine it, and like also hitting a home run that game, like it was crazy. Like it felt unreal. Like I had to really take it in after the game, to like really know that like this is actually happening. Because no one would have thought 5 years ago when I first stepped on UCF that I would be playing pro and winning the WPF Championship. So just all the hard work and also just my coaches trusting in me, and like when I didn't trust in myself, like them building my confidence up and me really trusting that they had the best interest in me. And so just to see my growth and just like my preparation has definitely prepared me for this. So it was cool just like being a rookie in that situation. And it was great that I was a rookie and then Jayla started the game. She was a rookie. So I thought that was a great having the opportunity.
You win the championship, and I believe you all got to come to Disney World to celebrate, right?
Mm-hmm.
The champion. You took us through that. What was all? How did that all come about?
The best experience I've had at Disney World or Disneyland. BP, our owner, had hooked us up, so we got the VIP tour. So like we got to go in the back entrance. We got dropped off, and we got to go to the front of every ride. Like if we wanted to ride it multiple times, like they just took us to the front of the line, let us ride, and like we got snacks, like free snacks. We had our own private section for the fireworks show. So that experience was fun. It was great.
I could sense that in social.
Yeah.
I watched following all of you in the social media landscape there, and you said you
Mhm.
already want to come back and you want to play. So clearly, you had a blast
Yes.
this year. Did it exceed your expectations going into it?
It exceeded everything I could have imagined.
What is some of the things you'll work on now for year 2 that you learned this year?
One thing I caught a lot this past season out in Austin. So really getting that and crafting that more than I did in college, just because like I was like mainly utility in college, and so like now I really like focusing on that and just like fine tuning things and really being able to hit multiple pitches and being able to adjust more often. I think that's a big thing that I had to learn this past year. Being a rookie is like you have people that are throwing up, you have people throwing down, you have people that are not throwing hard, but like they have a change up like to keep you off balance. So you don't really see that as much in college. Like, yes, the top All-American pitchers are, but like in pro, like that's what they dominate with. And so being able to adjust how much they're able to adjust as pitchers. And so that was just like something I'm going to be working on in the off season.
Is it going to be weird in that you get to work focus on just softball? You don't have to go to class per se, like you've had to over the last 4+ years at UCF?
Yes, I have a lot of free time, even more than I did as a college athlete. And so just taking some time off right now and working on my business for that. So kind of just taking that time off because I haven't had off season in forever, because like when I did take off, it was like a week. And so actually taking like time away from softball and working out so I can like just decompress and like really take in of like just winning a championship, just finished playing college. And so that's kind of what I'm doing in the next few months, just taking time for myself to regroup and then get back into it.
You joined Stephanie Best, Allison Kime, and Shelby Turner. They're players that won professional championships. Stephanie Best did it in 2007 with Monica Abbott in the NPF. Allison Kime did it with Kat Osterman, 2009, Rockford Thunder. Shelby did it most recently with Chicago in 2016. What does it mean to be join that list and really kind of sending the message that you could go to UCF and accomplish all your goals and dreams as far as playing professionally and internationally, which we'll get to in your case.
I think it's a great thing because when I first got to college, like UCF was kind of just like they didn't really know about the softball program at UCF. So like now knowing that like people know about us, they don't just know like, oh, they can win a few games. Like they know what this program's built on, and that Coach Beer has provided a great foundation for this program. And knowing that you can play pro going to UCF, like you don't have to go to these other programs. Like UCF provides you everything these other programs are. So we're getting the respect that we deserve for having UCF being a young program. So I'm excited to see what Coach Beer continues to do for the program, especially with the new coaching staff. I'm excited to see what they have this year.
You also got the experience to play a couple of falls there with the U.S. national team.
Mm-hmm.
You got to play in the Japan All-Star Series. What was that experience like, and how did that help you not only in your collegiate career, but obviously going professionally?
I think that prepared me a lot, knowing like I'm confident in knowing that I'm prepared for it and that I don't have to be like nervous that I'm playing with like other professionals and stuff like that. So that allowed me to really just grow in college, but now as like professional, I think that allowed me to just really grow and be myself on the field and knowing like I can connect with everyone on the field. And that's how I get out of my when I'm like shy and like in my shell is like connecting with my teammates. And so that allowed me to do that a lot in Austin. I was the most energetic I've ever been on the softball field. I was dancing on the field. And so UCF and USA has definitely allowed me to grow. And now I'm just more confident than I've ever been.
Let's talk. Let's take a journey through your career. You're a California kid. How did you end up interested in playing softball?
I began playing softball. I saw my two older brothers playing baseball, and at first I was a gymnast and a cheerleader. I was really girly girl. And so I went to one of their baseball games and I was like, okay, I want to do this. And so my dad and my mom signed me up for softball. And ever since then, 6 years old, I've been playing softball.
6 years old.
Mm-hmm.
How did UCF enter the picture?
I had decommitted from DePaul University. Junior year of high school, I wanted to just explore my option a little bit more and wanted to go to a program that was up on it, like the horizon. And so UCF had everything I wanted to be. Like it had my degree, it had a great coaching staff, the Sunshine State, and it just felt when I was talking to Coach Bear, it just felt like home. I had committed before I even stepped on campus, so I knew it was home when I was on the phone with her, and so I knew that was the decision. I prayed about it, and I'm glad I made that decision 6 years ago.
Do you remember the first time you met her? What was that like?
She was actually recruiting me at her other school, so that was kind of the cool thing that she like already knew about me when I went back on the recruiting list, and so she was already recruiting me at her other school, and so she was really interested in me when I was on the recruiting list again. So she knew that she like wanted to work with me being a utility more than I was in high school. And she said that I had a lot of talent and that I just need some fine tuning. And she said that I'll be great and could come in as a starter. I just got to work hard. And so after I heard her saying that, I knew she wanted me.
All that turned out to be true. You got there, you walked on campus, played 2020. You were kind of a starter really from the get-go there. How were you able to transition, it seemed from the outside, smoothly, considering you've been used to being on the West Coast, now you're moving all the way to Florida, new campus, everything. How were you able to adjust to that?
Just relying on my support staff. UCF offers a lot of support when it comes to just academically, athletically, like every part you can think of, like UCF offers that. And I think that's helped me transition a lot. And like we had freshman program. And so like we did that weekly of like how to transition and like just move everything smoothly. And so that was a big thing. And then also the freshmen that came in with me, like I relied on them a lot. And like we kind of just relied on each other because a lot of us, we were from California, a lot of us, because that's just like a hub of softball. And so we knew we were away from home, but we knew that we had to make UCF feel like home. And that's what we did, and definitely strive to be the best.
When was there a moment or a game or are you like, I do belong here, I could succeed at this level at Division I softball?
The first time I felt like that, and it wasn't even my success, it was my teammate's success, and that was the Georgia game when Shannon walked it off. Like just the support everyone had for Shannon, like I was like, okay, this is what family feels like. Like I could be 0 for 4 and like we need that person. Like I remember vividly going up to Shannon. She was struggling in that game. I think she was like 0 for 3, 0 for 4. And I went up to her probably like the 5th, 6th inning. Me and Shannon are really close. And so I like started seeing her like she started like second guessing herself. And I told her, I was like, we're gonna need you at the end of the game. I like just trust your preparation. We've already been here. And so like us coming in together definitely had allowed us to grow and become so close. And so when she hit that home run to walk it off, like I knew that's what like UCF was like really home and really family, because like I knew someone else was gonna like walk it off for us. Like you're not gonna always have your best game, but like Shannon coming in and stepping in when she wasn't having her best game, I thought that was like a great thing. And then postseason that year when we went to Super Regionals was another one.
Yeah, that was 2022. Doherty hit the walk-off against Georgia, and then, of course, the historic year UCF winning.
Yeah.
And that was a historic year for you. You set the school record for most RBIs in a single season with 75. What was that like? Because you set a lot of records, fastest to 30 RBIs, 40 RBIs, 50 RBIs, 60 RBIs. You were chasing Stephanie Best's record, a record that at that time had held up for 19 years. What was that like? Were you blocking that off? Were you aware of it? What was that like as that season was playing out?
I remember telling my SID, like, don't tell me if like the records are about to be broken. Like, it stresses me out more than it does help me. So I told them, like, don't tell me. Like, if I'm having fun, like those records will be broken. And so I think I was probably at like 50, and they started saying something. I started seeing on social media. So I like got off of social media. And I was like, I'm just gonna have fun. I don't care if I ever break the record. If I break the record, like if I'm having fun, like that's me breaking the record. And so once I had that mindset and changing that mindset of like, I'm doing this for my team, I'm doing this for myself and my family, like once that happened, I think everything just followed after that.
I would say so, and it helped that Stephanie was following you. You got to know Stephanie, and Stephanie was rooting for you to break the record.
Yes.
And you break it in Greenville in the American Conference Championship game. What do you remember the hit? Were you aware of that when you hit the home run and you had broken the record?
Yes, I was coming in after my home run. I was coming in like all my teammates. I have it on my Instagram, all chanting how many RBIs I had. So it was a great feeling. But yeah, Steph definitely supported me this whole way. Like she was like, break it, break it. And so just that relationship was definitely a great relationship to have and continue to have. She's definitely been there since I've been here at UCF, just supporting me through it all. And so that was just a great friendship and relationship to have in college and outside of college.
Yeah, no doubt. And like I said, you had a monster year that year. You set a bunch of single season records and helped, win the regular season title in the American Conference Tournament Championship. You host a regional for the first time in the program history. That was a goal you all had set out that year as a team, right? That was to host that regional. And then you actually did, I believe, an Instagram. I want to say either for the NCAA or it might have been D1 softball at the time. That day, they fought you. You allowed them to follow you on that selection show. What do you remember of that day?
They had told me that I had an interview after the selection show. So I
ESPN, Holly Rowe, yeah.
Yeah. So I like kind of figured that we were hosting because I was like, if you're interviewing me, there has to be something like good happening after. So I was like, let's document it. So I remember I was like asking everyone like, where do you think we're going? And so just having that feeling and knowing that like that was the first time in program history that we've ever hosted a regional, and just to see like that, like the beginning of where I started into like now and like seeing where the program is about to take off. So it's like cool that like okay, now we already hosted regional. We've already had that experience. Like, okay, now we're gonna host super regionals. Like, give them the confidence that like it's possible. Like, it doesn't matter that we don't have to be Oklahoma. Like, we're UCF, and like we're good enough to host regionals and super regionals. And so, just to pour into them and continue to pour into the program is going to be big for me.
I do remember that. I remember that. Like the SID had mentioned that you had an interview with ESPN. I'm like, well, that's kind of weird. That would be kind of a weird thing to do if they weren't hosting. So you're right. In retrospect, that was kind of a sign. But boy, that celebration was wild when the name popped up. You guys celebrated there. Everybody, I remember the ESPN folks really enjoyed you guys' celebration there.
Yes, that was a crazy moment seeing our name go up on the screen.
You would go on to win that regional against Michigan. You set the tone. You hit a home run in your first at bat against Villanova in that opening game. That first inning, first regional game got moved up because of weather and all that. And you set the tone with the 3-run homer, I believe. You had 2 home runs in that game. What do you remember of that game? Because you set the tone for that weekend.
So it was actually crazy. I was super sick that weekend. So I was like, this is our first time hosting regionals. Like, I'm sick. Like, there was a lot of us that were getting sick around that time. And so, like, the fact that we came out of that region, like, I was like, okay, this is meant to be. Like, us hosting it, we're all sick and we still came out. Like, and then we had a long game against Michigan. So, like, that team really had a lot of fight. And, like, without that fight, I don't think we would have been able to accomplish what we accomplished. But that team was special.
What went through your mind when line drive, Macario catches the ball, UCF beats Michigan there, locks up that regional? What went through your mind?
Like, I was, after that happened, I was like, yep, like, we're going far. Like, this is a team that's gonna make history, and we're gonna continue to make history. But that team was amazing. I couldn't ask anything else for that team.
But what's funny is you have that great year, you get to the Supers, you end up season ends at Oklahoma, the eventual national champions. But your year was not done, because you would find out later that you would get to represent Team USA that fall and got to play with them. Because I remember you had tried out, right, in January of that year. Take us through that process of trying to make the U.S. national team. I know that was a big goal of yours, and to become the first UCF player to ever represent the red, white, blue. Well, take us through that process.
So they had like a training camp in January. So went to that and didn't initially make the team. And so then after season was over, after that amazing season, I had went back to Cali and I was just hanging out with my friends, and I had got a message from the president of the USA Softball organization, and he had reached out like, hey, like, do you have your passport? Like, would you love to join us in Japan? And I had actually got my passport because I was supposed to go on like a family trip, and we ended up canceling that. So I had my passport and just never used it. So luckily I had it. And so he told me like, hey, like in a month, like we're going to Japan. So it was cool because I was like actually in California, and like we were having a family gathering. So I was also able to tell my whole family in person. And so it was a great opportunity for that. And I loved everything about playing with USA.
You helped them win the home run derby, if I recall, right? Your dad, at least that was your dad's story, because your dad somehow kept posting messages out of the blue, like while you're in Japan, which I appreciate.
Yeah.
A lot of fans appreciate it, but it was kind of like random out of the blue. What do you remember about that home run derby?
Yeah, so it was me and Kinsey Hansen, and the wind was blowing out in left field. And like for practice, like all my home runs were going in left field. And so the wind was blowing out that way. So they were like, Jada, you're doing the home run derby today. And so it was me and Kinsey. And so I just told them, I was like, something inside, I can just pull and turn on it, and I will just elevate it, and the wind would take it out. And so I remember doing the home run derby, and like Japan, they celebrate softball and baseball. Like their stadiums is like an MLB ×2 out there. So the amount of fans out there, in the first year I went, they weren't allowed to cheer because like COVID was still a thing there. So like imagine like an MLB stadium and like they're not cheering. So like that's how the first year was. But the second year was like completely different story. But each year definitely was a different experience, but like loved every part of it. Like the goal now is to go play in Japan in the next few months. And so that's kind of what that led to.
22, you played in Japan. I thought did you play like in Chile somewhere else?
Guatemala.
Guatemala, that's what it was. Describe that experience, because that you were part of a tournament championship team there in Guatemala.
That was fun. It was a lot of vets there playing. Like it was Janae, Odyssey, Deja, Aubrey Leach. There was a lot of them out there, and so that team was stacked. And so we went out there and we were undefeated and we competed. And so just being able to have like a different atmosphere than Japan was definitely a great experience, just to being in a different culture and learning their culture. And so that was a great experience out there as well.
Did you get to keep the U.S. national jersey like that you wore, or do you have to give it back?
No, you have to give it back.
Oh, man.
But I have like gear, like I have like jackets and stuff like that.
Okay. And you took photos and everything like that.
Yeah. But no, we had to.
Describe when you put it on, that jersey, for the first time. I mean, was it like surreal? Like, what was it like when you wore those jerseys for the first time?
Yes, I remember it was me, Emerson Lee, and then 2 of my other roommates when I had got the USA package first in my our dorm room, and so like we like opened it and we were like doing a try on haul, and like we put on the whole uniform. It was like just like walking around, and so like when I actually went to Japan for the first time and put the uniform on, like it was surreal because like I never really dreamed of playing on the national team. Like I didn't really know that much about it, but being able to put the USA across my chest definitely meant a lot to me. And so like the little 6-year-old girl was super proud when that happened.
I would imagine, and I'm sure that was an
Mhm.
experience you and your family won't forget anytime soon.
Yes.
You continue to play on. You win a conference championship in 23 in the last year in the
Mhm.
American, and then 24 you play in the first year of the Big 12. Describe
Mhm.
that experience playing in that Big 12, being part of that first year where you're playing the Oklahomas, Oklahoma States, and the Texas in big crowds throughout the season.
Mhm. It's everything that we wanted. We wanted to compete and be the number one in the country, and so like we obviously have to play the best of the best to be the best. And so having that opportunity, like my last year of college, was it was surreal. But yes, it was hard. It was a grind. But just to see where we were from the first year I was there till the last year, and just to continue to see where the program goes in the Big 12, it's going to be a lot of growth and seeing that like we can have like we can become ranked now because like we're playing great teams in conference and out of conference, and so it's easier to be ranked if we're winning games. And so that competition is definitely going to be important for us like moving forward for the program. But it was fun being in Big 12 and competing. Like my senior night having to play Oklahoma, like yes, everyone Oklahoma should win that game, but like for us to compete, like we went hard, we fought that game and not just like that series. And so being able to have the opportunity to play Oklahoma your senior weekend, like I'm not thinking going into that, oh, like we're losing. Like, no, we're winning. And like they're gonna feel like senior night, like we're winning against them. So that was a great opportunity and it was fun though.
As your career went on, you drew a lot of fanfare. You were a very
Mhm.
popular player. A lot of
Mhm.
fans watched you. They wore a lot of gear similar to this. There you go.
Okay.
There you go.
Elo.
Wearing your gear. What was that like? I mean, it wasn't just you, but it was Shannon because of all that winning.
Mhm.
You helped develop a big following, attendance. I think the three best seasons in attendance in the program history was
Mhm.
from 22 on to 24. What was it like to deal with that fanfare? I know you had to do autographs after games on a Saturday, and yet you get swarmed by a lot of
Mhm.
kids and everything. It's cool. It's a unique experience there. What was that like?
I think it was cool just to see from the first year I was there that we really didn't have that many fans to like now, and it's like sold out. I think it says a lot and makes a statement to Orlando that like UCF is on the map, and like to start supporting softball, especially in Florida. Like Florida's a great state to support, and so like we're gonna need more seatings for the softball games and stuff like that. So like Terry, if you're watching this, we're gonna need updates on the softball field, but
I
just
like
to
it.
see where the UCF softball program is going is a great thing. And I'm excited to see how the fan base like continues to grow.
Well said. I would not have said
Mhm.
it better myself there. While
Mhm.
you were playing, though, at the highest level, you were also performing at the high level in the classroom because
Mhm.
you'd be winning the order recipient of the Order of
Mhm.
Pegasus.
Mhm.
When do you remember you found out that you received that?
Um, I started the process, I want to say like around October. I had to do interviews, I had to submit my application, my resume, letter of recs. And so I started that process a couple months before prior to that. And then it was one of our games. We had a late game. I forgot what game it was. But it was one of our games. We had ended at probably like 10:30. It was like a late game. And I had a link on my phone. I was like walking out the facility. And before I had passed Coach Bear's office, I like looked at my phone for the first time and it was like, congratulations, you won the Order of Pegasus. And so like whoever was in the building, because not everyone's there, I'm usually the last one to leave. So whoever was in the building, like I literally like screamed and was like just telling them that I won it because like no one knew. Only a few people like Coach Bear and a few other people knew that I was like working towards it. And so for me to like actually receive it, I think that was great that I received it like at the softball facility because like without softball, like and us having like strict regimens of like what classes to take, how your grades are, and your community service, that was a big thing. So I don't think without softball, like that award is extremely hard. But Coach Bear puts academics first. That's the first thing that she prioritizes and community service. So those are the two things that the Order of Pegasus looks at. And so that allowed me to be on that list.
Yeah, you were the third night softball player to ever receive
Mhm.
the Order of Pegasus. Shelley Frick in
Mhm.
2010, and of course Shannon Doherty did it the year before.
Mhm.
So of course you two have to be linked up to winning back to
Yeah.
back the Order of Pegasus. That right?
Yeah.
Had to be.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You two are always going to be linked. You came together. You both leave as the winningest UCF players ever, 182 wins, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
Why did you and Shannon work so well together as the leaders of this program, taking it to levels it's never been before?
Yeah, so it's actually crazy. I think we had 6 or 7 freshmen in my class, and me and Shannon were the last 2 to leave. And so like we've been through it for the past 5 years, the hard, the ups and the downs. And so we were there through it all the conditioning tests, all the losses, all the wins. And so like we were there together and we knew where the program was at and where it's at now. And so like we poured in a lot of hours going to the cages together, running together. And so like we just have that bond of going through the hard together, so like we could celebrate together. And so like I was a big thing between me and Shannon and how we worked with that. And then also our faith really grew together. That was a big thing of just like us praying together, us doing devotions and Bible study together. So that was like a big thing outside of softball that allowed us to grow closer. And then on the field praying together, and like when we're struggling, like God got you. And so like that was just a big thing that and allowed us to grow together and like continue to have a strong friendship.
I think you both told me you met at a travel ball game in California. Is that where you both first met?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was like a PGF game out there, and like didn't know, like I saw her previously because of the official visit, but then like I saw her out there.
Right, and both obviously
Mm-hmm.
recruited by Coach Bear. Do you have a funny Coach Bear story that you're allowed to share publicly?
A funny Coach Bear story. There's
Yeah,
a lot. Let me
I
think.
know there is a lot, but so you're done playing now. So there's nothing, you
um,
can't get in trouble now.
Yeah, let me think. I might have to come back on this one. Coach Bear does a lot of funny things.
Yes, if you've noticed lately, she's been dancing a lot on social
Yes, she
media
has
there.
been everywhere. I have gotten her TikTok sent to me like over 20 times. Like, look at your coach dance, look at your coach dancing. I'm like, Coach Bear is going viral on TikTok.
It's getting viral.
Um,
It's fairly true.
no, I have to get
All right, you got to get
to
back
you
to
on
me.
that. I have a lot. I have to think
I
of
say
it.
it's too much. Yeah, I know you're trying to figure
Yes,
it
I
out.
will.
Well, Shannon's going to be a GA this year.
Yeah, I know.
How do you feel about how Shannon will
Yes.
do as a grad coach?
Oh, she'll do amazing. She was always had that coaching spirit, and so Shannon's gonna do great. That's what she wants to do, and after GA, she actually wants to be like an actual coach, and so she'll be great. She knows Coach Bear, her coaching philosophy and stuff like that. So having her alongside is definitely going to allow the program to continue to grow because she knows the conditioning test. She knows what it like they've actually been through it instead of like the coaches they didn't go through it at UCF, but Shannon actually went through it at UCF. So they have that voice too on the coaching stuff. So I'm excited to see where she does and continues to grow.
What is next for you? Let's first start short term. You've mentioned already you're going to continue to play professionally. What
Mm-hmm.
else will you do in the meantime
Mm-hmm.
as you get ready for pro softball?
So I will be training, but I have a few camps coming up in Orlando, trying to put that together. So my first one I'm trying to do is a big one is a Halloween softball camp, like a JCO Halloween softball camp. That's supposed to be on October 19th. And so I'm trying to put that out, start posting it in the next few weeks. So I've been working on that, working on my website. So that's like a short term, kind of long term, because I kind of want to do a camp once a month, depending on that. But for Thanksgiving and Christmas, like Thanksgiving, I want to do a food drive camp. And so the girls bring like canned goods and stuff like that, and I donate it to Orlando, like the community of Orlando and like wherever they need it. And then for Christmas, a toy drive and do the same thing and donate to charities, the people that are less fortunate. So that's kind of what I want to do for my business side. But I am working recently get into Japan. That's my goal, to go to Japan in February and play out there pro. So that's the
The Pro
long term.
League. Pro League
Yes.
over there. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's a great league there. I know some of the best play there.
Yeah.
So you're also working towards that. That's very common for those that are not aware. A lot of players will play in Japan and then come back in the States and play in the States. So that's kind of the goal you're looking for?
Yes, that's the goal. That's the main goal.
That's pretty sweet. You like Japan a lot then. That
Love it.
experience.
Yeah. Yeah, I loved it out there.
What is your goals past softball once your career is done, whenever that is? You're very young, so you can play as long as you want. But what's your plan long term beyond softball?
Long term, so at first it was I wanted to be an orthodontist. Do I want to go back to school? I have not decided that. So I am praying and hoping that softball just takes over and I can just do camp full time and eventually become a coach here and there. And then 2028, I do want to play in the Olympics. I don't know if that will be my last time playing or if I have more after that, but kind of just taking it year by year. But life goals are kind of just where God wants me and where my purpose is.
Yeah, take it one year at a time,
Yeah.
for sure there.
Hmm.
I mentioned, I heard you say Orlando, so you're sticking around in Orlando there. So
Yes.
you'll be at a lot of UCF games.
Hmm.
What can we expect? It's a young team now they got over there.
Hmm.
What advice are you giving the young players over there?
Honestly, just to embrace the core values at UCF and to really allow yourself to be yourself and to be confident that your preparation prepared you for everything and that Coach Bear and the whole coaching staff has your best your best interests at mind and at heart. And so to never question yourself and knowing that you're the best that you can be and continue to just grow as a person, player, individual, and as a woman.
That's pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
Lastly, what's the legacy you want people to say when people bring you up on
Mm-hmm.
UCF campuses? What is the thing you want people to say about Jada Cody?
That she was a hard worker, if it was on and off the field, and that she gave back to her community. That was the biggest thing that I wanted when I first came here is that the Orlando community poured into us and our program. So I just want to pour back into that. So like just my legacy of like she worked hard and that she allowed that program to soar and to grow and that she came all the way from California and made it big time.
You're in the top four in these following categories: second all
Mm-hmm.
time in home runs, second in RBIs, second in slugging percentage, second in
Mm-hmm.
total bases, second in runs scored. You know who's number one, right? I mean, that's for
Yeah.
Miss
Yeah.
Best. Miss Best owns those
Mm-hmm.
records there. But you do have one record. You set the all-time doubles career record this past year, so you are the doubles queen. So you got that one over her.
Mm-hmm.
55 career doubles for the record.
Okay, that was a lot.
That was a lot. That was the one against FAU. You hit the double against FAU. Did you know when you hit that, you slid into second, that was a record breaking, or you had no idea until after the fact?
No, I knew. That was one I actually knew because I was supposed to break it, but our game had got canceled. So yeah, it was just, they had already told me about that. So that was one record I did.
They did a lousy job keeping it away from you. You didn't want to know. They
Yeah.
still kept telling you. What are you going to
Yeah.
do? Well, Jada, hey, congrats on the summer you've had. Congrats on the career you've had. I definitely was following you all summer and was excited for you when you got the opportunity to play there
Mm-hmm.
and win that championship. And I'm excited to hear you're going to continue to play,
Mm-hmm.
which will make a lot of fans happy. And B, you're going to be around Orlando, which means you're going to be hanging out what, left field lounge during the season,
Oh,
maybe?
I don't. I might be hanging out with you. I don't know where I'm hanging
Ooh,
out yet.
the booth. Well, you have the credentials to hang out with me. You're one of the few that might be allowed to do that. We can make that
Okay.
work. But you still got, as long as you come up with a Coach Ball Malone story, though, you're gonna have to come up
Okay,
with
I will.
that.
I'll think about it.
Tell the audience, because you said you're promoting, you're gonna have some camps coming up and everything. Where
Mm-hmm.
can people follow you
Mm-hmm.
as that develops and you kind of decide start pushing that across social media?
You can follow me on Instagram underscore JAYCODY. You can follow me on TikTok. That is Jada underscore CODY 99. I'll be posting it everywhere, but eventually my camp website will be JAYCOcamps.com. So it's jcocamps.com. So just be on the lookout. I'm trying to post in the next 2 weeks. But yeah, so my first camp I'm shooting for October 19th. And so that will be in Orlando and Altamont Spring area. Haven't finalized that. So it's either there or the UCF indoor facility. So that's what I'm working on, just giving back to the community and allowing the little girls that I once was just to pour into them and allow them to fulfill their softball dreams and goals.
That's awesome. Great to hear, and I'm glad to hear it.
Mm-hmm.
Glad to help promote that, Jada. Pleasure to catch up with you, bud. I'm sure I'll run into you at some point here real soon. But thanks for coming on and catching up. And again, always proud of you, man. And we'll talk soon.
Thank you.